Good afternoon. My name is Paul Doghramji, and I am the co-owner and co-founder of VPO Games LLC. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about partnerships and limited liability corporations. This is part one of a two-part presentation. In part two, I'll be talking about my company with my business partner and cousin, Mark Doghramji. Let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about limited liability corporations. With an LLC, it basically is by definition an unincorporated form of business organization that many people see as combining the most advantageous features of a partnership and corporations. It basically combines the tax advantages and management flexibility of a partnership with the limited liability of corporations. And this is great because double taxation with corporations is completely avoided since the LLC is taxed by the IRS as a partnership and not a corporation. Very advantageous. It's a good move. The limited liability corporations, or LLCs, they're a very new form of business. A couple characteristics of LLCs: they are a separate legal entity for purposes of liability, but not always for taxes. Members control allocation of control. For instance, I can control every type of control. I can hire people, I can fire people. So can my cousin or business partner, because we're co-founders and we're the only members and owners of the board, along with our investors as well. The liability of an LLC is limited to the loss of capital contribution. For instance, at our startup, my cousin and I both put in a couple $100 each. If our LLC was to be dissolved completely, we would both get that money back only. Basically, only the money that we put in to the company from our own pockets. It's another advantageous form, so you don't lose too much money. You know what I mean? So you don't get too invested and lose a lot more than you put in. It's great. Also, when you have an LLC, you have an operating agreement. An operating agreement literally spells out the lifetime of your business, of your corporation. It spells out whether the profits will be taxed as a corporation or as a partnership, and you really want to pay attention to that area because, like I said before, you can avoid double taxation, which is very advantageous to your business. The operating agreement also spells out the transferability of certain things. Again, like the allocation of control, it spells out who has that power, the powers, that you do have, the responsibilities that you have as an owner, employee, and so on. Let's talk a little bit more about partnerships, because as I said before, I do own a corporation of my own called VPO Games LLC, and I am in a partnership with my business partner and cousin, Mark Doghramji. Partnerships are interesting because first thing about it, family is a little bit of a taboo. You should never go into business with someone who is your family member, and of course I do know that, but my cousin is one of my most trusted people that I know. He's someone that I trust more than anyone in the world, and that's the difficult thing, because how do you know that you can trust somebody? It's difficult to understand. A little bit about partnerships. By definition, the partnership is a voluntary association between two or more people who co-own a business for profit. And the Uniform Partnership Act, the UPA, is what really sets the rules in the operating agreement in place based on the management that we've chosen. The UPA basically sets the rules for how we can make the operating agreement. Of course, you do this with a lawyer. The lawyer helps you draft the operating agreement because it is a lawful contract. It's a contract that is enforced by the law. That's why, of course, you need a lawyer present. You need him to serve as the agent. If one person voluntarily leaves a partnership, however, it is dissolved. Of course, there are... now, of course, when I think about this, I think, oh my goodness, if anything happened, all of our work can be completely dissolved, gone away. What's going to happen there? Of course, when my partner comes in, we'll talk about this, that you can, sort of edit contracts, put in corollaries and things like that to protect the dissolving of your business. If that were to happen, if anything were to happen, difficulties between the partners. And my cousin and I really put some of those into our operating agreement because, of course, we are family. We can fight. You are going to fight in a partnership, no doubt about it. You will fight. You will disagree, and that's the good thing. That means that you have a healthy partnership. If you agree way too much, if there's an imbalance in opinion, it's probably not going to work out very well. Another thing about the partnerships is that they're considered a legal entity when it's being sued, which is nice. That's a limited liability. So, you know what I mean? If someone were to sue my VPO Games LLC company, they would be suing the company and not me personally, and they wouldn't be able to go after my personal assets, which is really nice, really advantageous. It's important also to establish that boundary, that that wall with incorporating your business right off the bat, or else you're liable for any really big mess up that you guys can make. It's very, very important. A couple characteristics about partnerships. Partnerships are voluntary and a consensual relationship between two or more individuals, partnerships, corporations, or other forms of a business organization that really engage in business transaction over a period of time who intend to make profit and share the profits and management of the business. That pretty much sums up that page right there. And now I'm going to get more into a little bit more about my company that I share with my cousin, VPO Games LLC. This is the end of part 1 of the 2-part presentation. Please turn on the second part to continue watching. Thank you.